Hi guys, it's Miss Berg again. I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be doing a little more than I expected today for this week. So you are going to be doing chapter 2.7 and 2.8, and we're going to start chapter 3 this week as well. So you're going to have your parents come and get books at some point, and I will lay them out in the foyer. There's actually going to be, if you are going to be bringing, um, uh, if you are going to be staying online, you will need chapters 3 through 7 for the next 9 weeks. That's how quickly I am going to go through it. I actually sat down and I'm like actually like nervous that I'm not going to get through everything. So I am going to be packing a lot in. Probably you're going to get like 4 lessons a week now. So don't be shocked by that. Um, chapter 3 is kind of like a favorite chapter of everybody. So I'm just letting you know that as well. Also, you need to get 2.7 and 2.8 done very quickly this week. I'm probably going to set it to be due no later than Wednesday because I want 2.7 and 2.8 on this 9 weeks. So when it comes to like report cards, which is going to end this week, I need to get grades in. So 2.7 and 2.8, I would hope you guys can get that done by this coming Wednesday and submit it to me by then so that I can start grading it and keeping the grades on this 9 weeks. And then give you some time to like redo it if you need it to be done. Need any redos as well. So I need you guys to get that in as soon as possible because those ones are going to be on this 9 weeks. Then next 9 weeks, I'm going to start with chapter 3. Again, you're going to do one lesson with me, 3.1 with me this week, but the grade isn't going to go on until next 9 weeks. So that's actually going to be your first assignment on the next 9 weeks is chapter 3. So I just kind of want to get all chapters 1 and 2 out of the way so that it is not on this 9 weeks. So that I finish it this 9 weeks, and then we can really start chapter 3 next 9 weeks. So I'm just letting you all know that I'm going to lay out chapters 3 through 7 for any kids who need to get that done. And I will send out an email to your parents as well. But some people I don't have emails for, so please let your parents know that I am going to be putting those out in the foyer for them to pick up. Again, it is chapters 3 through 7, so they need all of them. That is a lot of books right there. All right, so that is what is going to be going on. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to start 2.7 and 2.8. So, and then I'm going to go over the chapter review, which is going to be pretty quick. And then I'm also going to be recording 3.1 as well so that it's done this week as well. And I'll post all of those. So I'm going to flip it over right now. All right, so this is interpreting the remainder. So now we're going to get story problems, and now we got to figure out what the remainder means, and if we need the remainder, if we don't need a remainder, if we need to bump it up, the remainder to like another whole number will make more sense out of it once we get to it. So Scott and his family went on a hike trail that is 1,365 miles long. They will hike equal parts of the trail on 12 different hiking trips. How many miles will Scott's family hike on each trip? So it says to circle the dividend that you will use to solve this division problem. So therefore, our dividend, the one that's going to be going into the box, is this one. That is going to be going into the box. Then it says underline the divisor that you will use to solve this. So we have to figure out how many 12s go into this. So just keep that in mind. We got to see how many hiking trips it will take to get to that number. So we are going to divide 12 into our dividend here. So when you solve a division problem with a remainder, the way you interpret the remainder depends on the situation and the question. Sometimes you need to use both the quotient and the remainder. You can do that by writing the remainder as a fraction. So write the remainder as a fraction. First, divide to find out the quotient and the remainder. So that is what we are going to be doing right now. So we're going to do that. Can 12 go into 1? No, it cannot. How about into 12? Yes, it can go in 1 time. So then when you go and you use dead monkeys smell crazy bad, here are your steps. I still want you to use that. So now we just divided. So then we are going to multiply, then subtract, then check, and then bring down. So those are our steps. So we just divided. How many 12s can go into 13? It was 1 time. So now we're going to multiply. 1 times 12 is 12, and we're going to put that under here. Then we are going to subtract those. Now keep in mind that everything must be lined up. You should put the 12 under here, the 13, not under the 6, because then you're saying that it could go into 136 that many times, and that is not true. So make sure you're lining everything up. Now when you subtract, that would be 1. Now we check, is it smaller than my remainder? Yes, it is. Now, if it's bigger, that means that this number up here was wrong. It should have gone in at least 1 more time. So since it is smaller, we are on the right track. So now we can bring down our next number, which is a 6. Then when you bring down, you start up again. Now, how many 12s will go into 16? Again, that is only once. 1 times 12 is 12. You're going to subtract. That would be a 4. Check it. We are okay. So now we're going to bring down our next number, which is a 5. Then how many 12s will go into 45? So this is where you're going to have to guess and check if you don't know. If I started with 4, that would be 48, which is too high. So I can't go that high. Remember, you cannot, it's how many 12s go into 45 without going over 45? Well, this went over, so it can't go in 4 times. But it's not too far away. So now I'm just going to bring it on down to 3 and see what that number comes out to be. And that is 36, which is smaller than 45 and as close as I can get without going over. So therefore, my answer is 3. 3 times 12 was 36. So I'm going to subtract. Can I have 5 and take away 6? Nope. So now it is 15 minus 6 is 9. So in this case, now I have 113, and remember the remainder as a fraction is a 9 over 12. Now, this one, 9/12 of a mile, is still very much part of it, and we need to keep that there, because just like in a ruler, you see how it has these little hash marks in between. Each one still means something. So you can't leave those out. So when it comes to distances, you still need to keep that fraction, because that fraction still means part of a mile and part of feet, so many feet and things like that. So it is very important that we are keeping it, because if we just did 113 miles and we left off this, we would never get to our full amount. So what I mean by that, say I kept that off. If I did 113 times 12, remember they want to go this much distance. Let's see how much distance that they will get. I'm just going to do this very quickly so that you understand what I'm saying. All right, see, so look, just by cutting off that fraction, I'm actually off by, uh, let's see, 9 miles. No, actually, yeah, 9 miles. I'm off by 9 miles. So just that alone just took off a whole bunch. So we need to have that fraction there, because if we don't put that fraction there, they'll never make their trip. So in this case, when it comes to distances, it is very important that we keep that fraction. So therefore, um, it is 113 and 9/12 of a mile that they have to go every trip. So now it says, now decide how to use the quotient or remainder to answer the question. The blank represents the number of trips that Scott and his family plan to take. So here, how many trips did they plan to take? The divisor tells us that. That was the 12. Then here it says the blank represents the whole number of miles that Scott and his family want to hike each trip. So which one they want to hike each trip is this up here, which is our quotient. And then blank represents the number of miles left over. So in this case, it was 9. So that is our remainder, tells us what is left over. So therefore, the remainder represents 9 out of 12 parts. So represents 9 miles, which can be also divided into 12 parts. So when you write it as a fraction, it'd be 9/12, which can be reduced down. But like I said, I'm not going to go into reducing right now. So we could just keep this as our answer and they would be okay with that. So write the quotient with the remainder written as a fraction in simplest form. So see, it is telling us to do simplest form, but I did look up the state test. You don't need to do simplest form. But what simplest form means is doing like the factors. I guess I can show you it right now, but again, I don't want you to do this on your homework tonight. The factors of 9. If you were doing 9, remember the factor tree with Mr. Brian, you did 1 times 9. And then the other one, the other factor that could go into, so 2 can't go into this evenly, but 3 times 3 can go into it. So what they want you to do is then take these factors. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. So anyway, when you are doing factors, this is saying you have to go by these numbers to see if they can go in evenly. That's what it is. And if they can be reduced by. So here it is, how many can 9 go into 9 evenly? Yes, but in order for it to be reduced, it needs to go into both evenly. Can 9 go into 12 evenly? No, it cannot. So it cannot be reduced by that number. Now we can go over to 3 and try 3. Can 3 go into 9 evenly? Yes, it can. Can 3 go into 12 evenly? Yes, that can as well. So therefore, we can reduce this by dividing by 3 to both the top and the bottom. This is why I don't like that they brought this in yet, because we didn't even talk about fractions. So I don't like how they're turning this into it right now, because they think that you have an idea of what's going on here. So if you reduce this, how many threes go into 9? It is 3. And then how many threes go into 12? It is 4. So therefore, it can be reduced down to 3/4. So they wanted you to say that this is now 113, and then that was reduced down to 3/4 miles. Like I said, this is what they really want, but they would accept either of these on the state test. So again, I think it's too early for me to be going into this, but I did just show it to you because they did simply say it here. But on your homework tonight, if it does say that, don't have to do it. Just keep it like it is. We'll go more into it once we go into fractions, which won't be until chapter. Here we go. Next one. All right, so the segment of the Appalachian Trail that shows through Pennsylvania is 232 miles long. Scott and his family want to hike 9 miles each day on the trail. How many days will it take to hike exactly 9 miles? So here we go. On this one, you have to go through and see this, the segment of the Appalachian Trail that runs through so divide to find the quotient and the remainder. So right now it's telling us that this is how long they want to go, and this is what's going to happen each day. So we want to see how many 9s will it take us to go into that. How many 9 miles is it going to take us to get to that? So therefore, we are going to be dividing. Can 9 go into 2? No, it cannot. How about into 23? Yes, it would go in twice. Again, you could always use your multiplication chart to help you with this. Again, it is going by 9s. You want to get as close to 23 as possible without going over 23. As close as you're going to get without going over is 18, which is 2 times. So 2 times 9 is 18. Can you have 3 and take away 8? No, you cannot. So 13 minus 8 is 5. Then you check. Are you good? You are. So then you can bring down your next number. Then now it's how many 9s will go into as close to 52 without going over 52. So how many 9s can get as close to 52 as possible without going over? Well, this is going over, so the closest I can get is 45, which is 5 times. So then this is 5. 5 times 9 is 45. So when you subtract 2 minus 5, you can't do that. So then 12 minus 5 is 7. So therefore, it will take 25 and 7/9 days to reach this right here. So 25 and 7/9 is what this remainder is telling us. Now, it's saying, how long will it take them to reach this? Well, it's 7/9 is still within that 25 days. So therefore, it is 25 and 7/9 of a day. So therefore, they will hike exactly 9 miles on each of 25 days. But now they want us to look at this. You can add 1 to that quotient, because what is the total number of days that Scott will need to hike to make this? To hike the remaining 7 miles, he will need 1 more day. So he will need 1 more day to get to that. So therefore, he will actually need 1 more day, which is 26 days. And then use the remainder as your answer. If Scott hikes 9 miles each day, except for the last day, how many miles will he hike on that last day? He will only have to hike only 7 miles on that last day to reach his goal. So he will only need to hike 7 miles on that last day, which is the 26th day. So he actually is going to go 25 whole days, and 7 more miles on the very next day. So actually that's going to come out that he will need actually 26 days in order to reach his goal. All right, now a sporting goods store is going to ship 1,252 sleeping bags. Each shipping carton can hold only 8 sleeping bags. How many cartons are needed to ship all? Now, do you see that where it says all of the shipping bags? Very important that you know that. So when we divide, it's already started for us. It said that it goes into 12 one time. When you subtract it, it would have been 4. You check it, you're good. So then they brought down our 5 already. How many 8s will get in close to 45 as possible without going over 45? It is only 5 times. So we're going to put the 5 above the 5, and that would go in 40. So then when you subtract, that would be a 5. Check it. Are we good? Yes. So then we can bring down our next one. How many 8s will go into 52? As close to 52 as possible without going over. It is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Can you have 2 and take away 8? No, cannot. So 12 minus 8 is 4. So therefore, what this is saying is they would have 156 cartons, but would there be any sleeping bags left over? And so it would have 156 full cartons. However, there are going to be, since there are 4 sleeping bags left over, are you just not going to send, is this store not just going to send those 4 to them and say, oh, nope, you don't have a full one, so we're not going to bring it to you? No, nobody can do that. So they would just have to put it into another carton. It's just not going to be full. So in order to get all of those sleeping bags, you would need to bump this up. It is not going to be a full carton, but there'll be one that's not full, but it will be a total of 157 cartons to send all of them. So that one you would have to bump it up 1, because you cannot just keep those sleeping bags just because it did not make a full carton. You would just put it in a whole nother carton. It's just not going to be a full one. So here is the next one. Erica and Bradley want to hike the Big Cypress Trail. They want to hike a total of 75 miles. So this is how far they want to go. And if Erica and Bradley want to hike for only 12 days, how many miles will they have to hike each day? So first, you should divide. So can 12 go into 7? No, it cannot. Now, can it go into 75? Yes, it can, and it's actually on this one. How close to 75 can we get? It is 72, which is 6 times. So as close as we can get is 6. that would be 72. When you subtract, that would be 3. So that would be a remainder of 3. So therefore, in this particular case, it is very important that we keep that 3 because it is saying they still need 3/12 of a mile as well. So you cannot just remember how I said when it comes to like distances and stuff, it is very important to know that that 3/12 still makes a difference, because if you do not put that in there, so hold on real quick. So it would be 6 and 3/12. Again, that can be reduced down. I guess I could still show you again if you did the factor rainbow of that top one, it could only be 1 and 3. So can 3 go into 3? Yes. Can 3 go into 12? Yes, that can as well. So therefore, it can be reduced by 3 to both top and bottom, the numerator and the denominator. So how many 3's go into 3? It would be 1. And how many 3's go into 12? That would be 4. So therefore, it would be 6 1/4 miles each day. If you leave out that 1/4, that person will never reach what they want to reach, the goal of 75. They would only get to 72 miles because 12 times 6 is 72. So if you left that out, you're really not letting them reach their goal. It would still be off by 3 miles. So it is very important that when it comes to distances, especially, you really need to keep that whole fraction as well. So decide how to use the quotient and the remainder to answer the question. So in this particular case, that half, that 1/4 or that 3/12 really makes a difference. So you really still need that to be said in there. So you could have said 6 3/12 of a mile each day, or 6 1/4 if you do reduce it down. Again, you don't need to reduce it, but that fraction needs to be there. It is very important that we keep that remainder in. All right, next, what if Erica and Bradley want to hike 14 miles each day? How many days will they hike exactly? So in this case, now we are going to change it up. Now they're saying, what if they do 14 miles a day? So again, they still want to reach their goal of 75. The only difference is now they want to do it in 14 days instead of 12. So can 14 go into 7? That should be no. Can it go into 75? Now remember, if you don't know your 14s by heart, which you shouldn't, I tell my students to always start at the middle ground, which is 5, and go from there. So 5 times 4 is 20. Carry your 2. 5 times 1 plus 2 is 7. So it is 70, which is close as you're going to get. You're not going to fit another 14 in between these two numbers. So therefore, it is 5. 5 times 14 is 70. So it has a remainder of 5. So it says, how many days will they hike exactly 14 miles? So it would be 5 and 14. It would be 5 and 5/14 of a day to reach their goal. But in this case, how many full days will it make them get to that? It would not just be 5 days because they would not make that. It would only be 70. So they would need an added day. And I think they messed up here. How many days will they hike exactly 14 miles? I think they meant 75 miles. So I think that was a mistake. So how many, it would take them actually a total of 6 days to reach their goal. So in this case, it would be bumped up to 6 days, because if they only went 5 days, they would not reach their goal. So we would have to bump it up one more day for that remainder. All right, next, Dylan's hiking club is planning to stay overnight at a camping lodge. Each large room can hold 15 hikers. If there are 154 hikers, how many rooms will they need? So in this case, we have to see how many 15s will it take to get in this number. So therefore, when you divide this out, I'm going to just do that over here. Can 15 go into 1? No, it cannot. Can it go into 15? Yes, that would be 1 time. That would be 15, subtract, that'd be 0. Check it, we are okay, so bring down. How many 15s will go into 4? It is too small, so it goes in 0 times. So 0 times 15 is 0, and you will still have 4 left over. So therefore, in this case, it is saying 10 full rooms, but 4 out of the 15 hikers will still not have a room. So in this case, are you going to tell those 4 hikers that they have to go home, that they don't have a room for them? Would you do that? No, of course you can't do that. So instead of just getting 10 rooms, you are just going to put them into another room. So therefore, they would have to go into their own room. So it would be not a full room, but you would still need 1 more room. So then therefore, how many rooms will you need for them all? You would need a total of 11 rooms for everyone to fit. So you would need a total of 11 for those 4 people. All right, so next one, the students in the class of 24 share 48 apple slices and 36 orange slices equally among them. How many pieces of fruit did each student get? All right, so we said that they are going to divide up the pieces of fruit to all the kids equally. So in order to do this, you should have went and first figured out how many pieces of fruit do you have together. So do you just have apple slices? No, you also have orange slices. So we got to figure out how much we have total here of fruit slices. So in order to figure that out, you would do 48 plus the 36 to figure out how many total slices of fruit first. Then when you find that out, then you are going to share them amongst all the kids. And how many kids are there? There are 24 students. So then you're going to divide that by 24. So first thing you would do is you would add these two. Just to save time, when you add that, it comes out to be 84. And then you're going to divide it amongst 24 kids. So in order to do this, now you would have to divide to figure out. So can 24 go into 8? Yes. Sorry, no, it cannot. Can it go into 84? Yes, it can. So like I said, if you have no idea where to start, you could always start at 5 and then go up and down from there. So in this case, I am going to start at 5 and see what that does. That would be 20, carry your 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And 120 is too high. So therefore, I can't put that in. So therefore, I could even bring it down by 1 and see what that does. That would be 16, carry your 1. That would be 96. Again, it is still too high. So now it is telling me I need to go down again. So I'm going to try 3. That would be 12, carry your 1. That'd be 6 plus 1 is 7. So therefore it goes in 3 times. That would be 72. When you subtract, that would be 12. All right, so in this case, if you look here, it would be 3 and 12 over 24. Now, it would be 3 whole pieces, but then this is probably why they want you to simplify it to see if it makes sense. When you are doing the factors of that top one, it would be 1 and 12. And then you continue to keep on going. Then it would be 2 and 6. And I'm going to stop right there because I want you to look at 12. Can 12 go evenly into 12? Yes, it can. Can 12 go into 24 evenly? Yes, it can. So therefore, 12 can be reduced by 12. And then you can do the same to the bottom. So how many 12s go into 12? That would be 1. How many 12s go into 24? That would be 2. So it would be 3.5 pieces. And can you give kids 3.5 pieces of fruit? Can you cut up a piece of fruit and cut it in half? Does that make sense? Can you do that? Of course you can do that. So therefore, each kid needs their 3.5 pieces. So therefore you keep that because that is still part of it. You can simply cut up another piece into half so that each kid can get 3.5 slices. All right, next. It says Fiona has 212 stickers to put in her sticker book. Each page holds 18 stickers. How many pages does Fiona need for all of her stickers? So remember, even if there's a remainder, you still need a whole nother page because we want all the stickers on pages. So when you divide this, 212 will be in the box, and then this is your divisor. So this is what holds each one. So we got to figure out how many 18 sticker pages does it take to get to this number. So can 18 go into 2? No. How about 21? Yes, 1 time. That would be 1 minus 8. Can you do that? No, you cannot. So 11 minus 8 is 3. Check it. Are you good? Yes. So then I can bring down my next number. So now how many 18s do you think will allow you to go into 32? So I'm going to try 18 times 2 and see what happens. 2 times 8 is 16, carry your 1. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3, 36. So look at that. That is actually too high. So therefore, I cannot even use 2 times. I would only need 1 time. So when you subtract, can you have 2 and take away 8? No, you cannot. So 12 minus 8 is 4, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So therefore, you need 11 full pages, but then there's 14 stickers left over. So are you just going to throw those 14 stickers away because you don't have a full page worth of stickers? Well, of course not. So you would just put these 14 on another page. It's just not going to be a full page. So I'm going to say another page. So therefore, 11 plus 1 more page for 14 stickers is going to come to be 12 pages are needed for all of them. All right, next, a total of 123 fifth grade students are going to Fort Verde State Historical Park. Each bus holds 38 students. All the buses are full except for one. How many students will be on the bus that is not full? All right, so listen to what it just said. It does not want to know how many buses are there. It's asking how many students will be on the bus that is not full. So this means the ones that are left over. So that is what is answering this question. So we do not want to know how many buses it will take to get there. It is already telling us that all buses are going to be full except for one. So how many students are going to be on that one that is not full? So in order to figure this out, I would do 123 divide by 38. Can 38 go into 1? No. How about 12? No. How about 123? Yes. Now, again, if you have no idea where to start, you could always start at 5 and move on from there. So I'm going to start at 5 and see if that will go in. That would be 40, carry my 4. This would be 15 plus 4 is 19, which is too high. So therefore, it's not going to work out. So now I'm going to bring it down. That's actually by quite a bit too. So I am going to bring it down. Let's try 3. That would be 24, carry your 2. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. And look at that. I am not going to get any closer to that. So therefore, my answer is 3. And if I subtract, it'll be 114. Can I have 3 and take away 4? No, I cannot. So I'm going to come over and borrow. Now it is 13 minus 4, which is 9. So therefore, the question stated how many students would be on the one that is not full. So therefore, this is 3 full buses, but that's not what it's asking. It's asking how many students are not going to be on a full bus. So what is left over is this. So therefore, 9 students are going to be on the one that is not full. All right, now Sheila is going to divide a 36-inch piece of ribbon into 5 equal pieces. She says that each piece will be 7 inches long. What is her error? Well, let's figure out. So it's saying she's going to take 36 and she's going to cut it up into 5 pieces. Let's see what it comes out to be. 5 times, can 5 go into 3? No. Can it go into 36? Yes, it can, 7 times. That would be 35. So when you subtract, that would be 1 inch left. So, therefore, in this case, guys, it's not just going to be 7 inches. It's actually be 7 1/5 of an inch. Because in this case, if you just do 7 times 5, you're only going to get 35. Remember, you have 36. So therefore, it is very important that you are keeping that fraction as well. 1/5 of an inch is still very much a part of that piece as well. So it is very important that you are keeping in even just a little fraction of an inch as well. It is still very much part of that. So it is not just 7, it is 7 1/5. So her error was she forgot the 1/5 of an inch per piece. All right, so that is those ones. So now we're going to come over here and do just a few more. So this one says Maureen has 243 ounces of trail mix and she wants to put an equal amount of ounces into 15 bags. How many ounces of trail mix does she have left over? So again, the question is how many ounces does she have left over? So what do we need to find? Ounces left over. So it's not asking about how many bags, it's just saying the ounces that are left over. So how will we use division to find how many ounces will be left over? So what are you going to take? we're going to take your dividend, which is 243 ounces, and you're going to divide them amongst 15 bags. So that is what we are going to be doing here. I'm going to do that. So can 15 go into 2? No, it cannot. How about into 25? Yes, one time. 1 times 15 is 15. So you subtract. Can you have 4 and take away 5? No, you cannot have 4 cookies and give away 5. So you have to come over and borrow. That will now give you 14 minus 5, which is 9. Then check it. We are good. We're smaller than our divisor, so I can bring down my next number. Now, how many 15s can go into 93? Again, if you have no idea where to start, I always say to my students to start at 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, carry your 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So it's 75. Is it possible that I can get another 15 in there? If it's too hard to tell, always try it. So in this case, I'm going to go up because I'm not sure. So I'm going to go up one more and just be on the safe side and see if it's possible. So this is 30, carry your 3, and that is 6 plus 3 more is 9. So yeah, look, I can go in a whole nother time that was 6 times, and that would be 90, and then when I subtract, that would be 3. So again, the question stated how many ounces would be left over. So therefore, the answer to that would be our leftover part, our remainder, which is 3. So Maureen has how many ounces left? Oh, it says has how many ounces of trail mix? Oh, so we were supposed to put in 243. Now, this one is saying to put an equal amount of number in ounces and how many bags. So she wanted to put an equal amount into 15 bags. So each bag has how many ounces in it? There is actually 16 ounces in each bag. And then how many will she have left over? She will have 3 ounces left over. So that was the answer to that. James has 884 feet of rope. There are 12 teams of hikers. If James gives an equal amount of rope to each team, how much rope will each team receive? So in this case, I would have to divide again, 884, and then I'm going to divide it amongst the 12 teams. So remember, 12 is on our thing here. So can 12 go into 8? No, it cannot. It's too small. So we'll never make it to 8. So it'll go in 0 times. So we're just going to put an X above it. Can 12 go into 88? So as close to 88 as possible. Well, 84 is as close to 88 as I can get, and that is 7 times. So I'm going to put a 7 up here. 7 times 12 is 84. Subtract, that would be 4. Check it. We are good. Bring down our next number. Now, how many 12s will go into 44? So how many 12s will go into 44? As close as 44 as possible. It was 3 times. So that is 3. So then 36. So when we subtract, can you have 4 and take away 6? No, you cannot. So 14 minus 6 is 8. So therefore, how much rope will each team have to receive? It would be 73 full feet, but then in this case, it's not just 73 feet because you still have some left over. So you got to make sure you put in that remainder because you can cut up rope into sections, even if it's like into more, separate them. You see how I can just, if it's like 3.5 feet, like I can, 3.5 inches, I can cut right here. It is possible to do that. So in this case, it would be 73 and 8/12. Now, again, if you do the whole simplest form, you would do the factor rainbow of 8, which is 1 and 8, and then 2 times 4 also gets you there. So when you start doing this, you can look. 8 can go into 8 evenly. We already know that. But can 8 go into 12 evenly? No, it cannot. So we are going to cross that out. Now, can 4 go into 8? We already know that it can. But can 4 go into 12 evenly? Yes. So therefore, we can reduce this, both the numerator and the denominator, by 4. And that's what it means by simplest form. Again, on your homework tonight, you do not need to do this, but I'm just showing it to you because now that they're telling you about it, so I might as well let you know. So it's still going to be 73 full feet, but now we're going to figure out the fraction part of it. How many 4s can go into 8? That is 2. And then how many 4s go into 12? That is 3. So therefore, it is 73 2/3 feet per group. You still need that 2/3 in there. All right, next. Rory works for a produce packing plant. He packed 2,172 strawberries last week and put them in containers of 8 strawberries in each one. So there's only 8 in each container, and he has to get to that. How many containers of strawberries did Rory fill with 8 strawberries? So they just want to know, how many did he fill with 8 strawberries? Remember, 8 strawberries means how many full ones. So keep that in mind. It's just asking how many containers have 8 strawberries in it. So that means full strawberries. Explain what you would use with the quotient and the remainder to answer this question. So we are going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to divide this real quick. So can 8 go into 2? No. Can it go into 3? Yes, only twice. So that would be 16. When you subtract, you can't have 1 and take away 6, so you have to borrow. That would be a 5. Check it, we are okay, so we're going to bring down our 7. How many 8s can get as close to 57 as possible? That is 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract, that would be a 1. Check it, we are good, so then bring down your next one. How many 8s go into 12? That is 1 time. 1 times 8 is 8, and that would come out to be 4 remaining. But the question again, remember it said how many containers of strawberries did he fill with 8 strawberries? Remember, 8 strawberries means how many full containers. In this case, your full containers is 271. It did not ask how many were left over. So in this case, you don't need the remainder because it wanted how many full containers. All right, so that is what you do on those. You kind of just got to read what the question is stating and see what would be best. So in this one, again, to interpret, you would need to divide. So still use your did monkey smell crazy bad method. Again, just to go over, dead means divide, this means multiply, this means subtract, and this means check, and this one means bring down. And when you bring down, you start all over again. The other thing I need you guys to write is to show your work. That is very much needed as well. So I'm going to do number 2 with you. It says Marcia has 412 flowers for centerpieces. She uses 8 flowers for each centerpieces. How many centerpieces can she make? So it's asking how many centerpieces can she make? How many full ones? You're obviously not going to put out centerpieces that are not full. If you do that to like a bride or somebody, that bride is not going to be happy. So therefore, it needs to be full centerpieces. So in this case, we're not going to want to know about the leftover because that is not part of a full centerpiece. So we are going to divide this out. Can 4 go into 5? Sorry, can 8 go into 4? No. Can it go into 41? Yes, it can go in 5 times, which is 40. So when you subtract, that would be a 1. Check it, we are okay. So then I could bring down my next number. How many 8s go into 12? 8 can go into 12 one time, and then you have 4 flowers left over. So the question is, how many centerpieces can she make out of this? So guys, she can only make a total of 51 centerpieces. You are not going to use this leftover remainder because that is not a full centerpiece. So you cannot make a centerpiece with only 4. So therefore she will only have 51 centerpieces is what she can make out of that. So in that case, we do not want the remainder. So you are going to have 3 and 4. And I'm actually going to do this one with you as well. Suppose you have 192 marbles in groups of 15. Find the number of groups of marbles that you will have. Write the quotient with the remainder written as a fraction. So explain what that fraction part of your answer means. So in this case, they want us to find the number of groups of marbles that you will have. That's all it wants. So in this case, I'm going to divide. Can 15 go into 1? No. Can it go into 19? Yep, 1 time. I'm going to subtract. That would be a 4. Check it. I am good. So I'm going to bring down my next number. How many 15s can go into 42? Again, if you don't know where to start, you can always start at 5. But I'm going to do 15 times 3. Let's try that. That would be 15, carry your 1. That would be 3 plus 1 is 4. And that is too high. So 3 was too high. So I'm going to go and bring it down to 2. That would be a 10, carry your 1. That would be 2 plus 1 is 3. So as close as I can get without going over is my 30, which was only 2 times. So 2 times 15 is 30. And then that means I have a 2 and a 1 left over. So I have 12 marbles left over. Now, the question said, find out how many groups of marbles that I would have. I would only have 12 full groups. So therefore, I would have 12 marbles left over. So if I had 3 more, I could make another group. But in this case, I only have 12 groups of marbles that I can make. 12 full groups. How about that? If I say 12 full groups, that makes sense. So in this case, I don't need the fraction because I didn't want to know anything about what is left over. It just simply said, how many groups would I have? I would have 12 groups of 15. And then I had some left over, but they didn't want to know that. So it was just 12 full groups. All right, now I'm going to go over to the back of your homework. And on this one, you are going to do all of them. So that is what I want you to do. So I just want you to circle all 6 And that is what I want you to do for this lesson. So I'm going to stop the recording because I am almost done with my my battery is very low. So I'm going to let it go ahead and recharge, and then I'll come back and do 2.8 next. So I will see you guys soon.